The Cycle Show, brought to you by ChainReactionCycles.com.
A guy called Darren Parish contacted the show and suggested that we come and ride with him around the place where he works, which didn't sound that appetising, to be honest, until we discovered that Darren runs cycling holidays out here in the Italian Alps.
Questi giorni quando vieni il bel sole.
He suggested that we try and ride up the Stelvio Pass. It's 2,750 metres tall, the second highest road in all of Europe. All of the big names in Italian cycling have had a crack at it at some stage. But I just know it's going to be really, really difficult, really, really long, and very, very steep.
And fields are green. I look around and think about...
And I love a challenge, and normally I'd be well up for it, but this year is a little bit different because I haven't actually been doing that much cycling. I ran 150 miles across the Sahara Desert back in April, and I'm still suffering from that, to be honest. So that's why I've brought along our old friend Kristian House of Rafa Condor Sharp, one of the best pros in the UK at the moment, and also a top guy and really, really helpful. If anybody can get me up the mountain, it's Kristian.
It's on days like these that I remember.
The Stelvio is the centrepiece. Why did you want us to come out and ride the Stelvio so much?
The Stelvio is, it's an iconic climb. It's on the Grand Tour. It's, it's one that I think every cycling enthusiast should really try and have a go at. It's 2,757 metres. It's very, very iconic. It'll put tingles down your back.
Trembling with fear, maybe more than tingles down the back. What kind of percentage gradient are we looking at, and how long is the climb?
Steepest about 14–15%. We're going to be generally average about 9, I guess. It doesn't slacken off. It gets very, very hot and exposed, and we're going to be going about 20 kilometres.
I think I've heard enough. Yeah. Thanks, Darren.
No problem at all.
Kristian, am I glad to see you?
Thanks
going to drag me up this mountain?
I think you've got the fitness. I think after a good meal and a good night's sleep and a good breakfast in the morning, you'll be fine.
What have you got for us?
Well, we've got basically everything you really need here at the moment. We've got some fish, we've got some pasta, some potatoes, and some a risotto there. It all looks quite lovely.
What are we taking tomorrow?
I think hopefully we've got some some energy bars and some gels, and you'll have your energy drink as well. So after a good breakfast, you shouldn't need much more than that for the kind of ride we're going to do tomorrow.
Going to need a tight feed, as we'd say back in Northern Ireland, before that. We'll get stuck into this, and we'll see you later to see how we get on. Cheers.
So this is the start of the Stelvio, as you can see, unbelievable setting. So what we're going to be doing is climbing up the road, across the valley here, across the forest section there, and you can see that little outcrop we're going to be shooting up across that. So it's a pretty impressive climb.
Yeah, so bike is pretty light, loving that. Water, I've got quite a lot of food, loads of gels, a few biscuits. You guys are well stocked up as well. Let's get on with it. So there, coming up to half a mile, 9% gradient already, which is fun. There's a little black squirrel. Whee! So loads of wildlife. So 29 degrees. It was just over 30 when we started. What about heart rate? Mine's way up, like 172 beats per minute.
Again, that's something that you'll know where your heart rate, what you can sustain because of your training.
Yeah. So what's your heart rate at the moment?
It's about 130.
Jeepers. So Kristian's at 130, I'm at 173. And we're only just over a mile.
You've got one of the major hairpins coming up in the first sort of section now. There's always a point where it slopes back into itself, so you get that little kick at the back end of the curve. So quite often it's sort of middle of the road, outside of the road, and it will send you back in.
So I took that far too narrow, that corner. So it's getting very steep again now. 9% incline here. My heart rate stayed pretty high. I gotta be wary of that, haven't I?
But yeah, you want to, again, and you'll know from your training where you're, where the point of no return almost is,
Yeah.
And you want to ride within those limits. Otherwise, you're just going to make it harder for you later on.
Yeah. And there are 40 hairpins, Darren.
40 hairpins, yep. This is an all category climb. So what they call a HC in the Grand Tours. That means it's beyond category. So it's an exclusive club of the big climbs.
Even harder when there's buses coming at you.
Yeah.
Should we try to eat all the time too, Kristian, or as often as possible?
Yeah, eat when you can. Once you feel hungry, it's kind of too late. So you want to, again, little and often is obviously the best way to do it.
It's hard to eat though, isn't it, when you're trying to breathe?
Okay, so we're on 14% now.
Woo!
Which stays for about 500 metres. And we're going to turn into another hairpin.
So yeah, this one's a lot steeper on the inside.
Yeah. So we've just come up one of the steepest parts of the climb, was 14%. Unfortunately, I took a huge mouthful of peanut butter bar before we started it, and it's still there.
And if you can see down the valley, it's pretty immense. Just how high we've actually come up in such a short distance.
7.25 miles in. We're a good bit over halfway, Kristian, right? Heart rate stabilised at 177. His heart rate has dropped. He disgusted me. I remember Gary Kemp saying a few weeks ago, you can't go and play football in the new camp or the San Siro or Old Trafford if you're an amateur, but you can come and cycle up the exact same roads and be in the same amphitheatre as all the very top guys over the last century.
Yeah, you can just feel the way this would be at the Giro. You can just feel the sense of excitement in it.
Like all these names all over the...
Basso,
Look at this.
Torisinger,
Scarponi.
Scarponi.
So lots of Pantani stuff.
There is still remnants from years ago.
So we're trying to keep this heart rate under control. So I thought, I'll change gear. Then I realised I have nowhere else to go. I got no place to go, man.
Yeah, you really want to, think about what kind of gearing you want to use on these climbs, and give it yourself the best possible chance. And sometimes that means putting on a 28 or something even bigger. Or even going to a compact chain set if you're going to struggle, just so you can stay on top of the gear, and it keeps your heart rate down. Pedaling quicker.
I like getting into putting a song rhythm in, like when I was doing all that running in May or in April, across the Sahara. I was doing this. I was going, Nelly the elephant, packing your tongue, say goodbye to the circus. But then I just became insane. It was in my head for 5 days.
Yeah, the problem with doing that is you're not taking deep breaths, and you end up maybe depriving your muscles of oxygen.
Okay. So I think about a mile to go, Kristian. I think we've lost Darren, which is a bit rude, but we're at 2,500 metres. We're trying to ride at altitude, and if I stop, I won't be able to start again.
No.
It's bad etiquette, but I gotta keep going.
At this point, everyone for himself get to the top.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not your day, and you hope you have your climbing legs on, but whew, this is tough. So, I'm about spent for the day. Going up at my own pace is good enough for me. My heart rate at this moment is reading only 162, which for the effort I'm putting seems low. So it just shows that I'm pretty spent already.
I feel a bit like a drunk Irish uncle that's kind of gate crashed a really cool Italian party. Because I'm puffing and panting, sweating and blowing, weaving all over the place, and you're just smooth, you're hardly breathing, you look good.
This is my day job, so
Yeah,
you know.
well, I tell you what, you do it well.
There we go. Last two hairpins now.
Oh.
And we're at almost
So we did
2,700 meters.
40 hairpins, just 2 to go, including that one. 150 metres.
50.
So we'd be cheek to jowl now.
That's it.
I'd be elbows out.
Elbows out.
I'd be punching you in the face.
I'd stick my pump in your wheel.
Still 8%, like. Whew.
Oh yeah, it's all the way to the top. 12% now.
Where's the cheering crowds? Dancing girls? No kegs of beer? Ah. This is the top here, right?
This is the top
wow.
right here. 27.60.
Ah. 137.
Nice bratwurst for you.
Ah. And there's our reward. That view. Well done. Hurts, doesn't it?
Good right, man.
Cheers, boy. We're at 2,757 metres, so more than twice the height of the highest point in all of England. But what goes up, though, Kristian, has to come down. So what are the big tips for descent?
It's very easy to catch a chill up here. So you know when we're descending now, you want to, you know, I've got my arm warmers here to put on the way down, and I've also got a wind jacket to put on the way down just to keep yourself warm.
How fast would you normally go? Say in a race, how fast would you descend?
On a descent like this, you probably get upwards to 90k an hour.
Well, for that reason, I think we might let you go ahead.
Coming down the mountain, one of many children.
Well, what time did you do that descent? And I haven't seen you since the summit.
I think it took about 18 or 19 minutes. Yeah, passed a few cars on the way down, but I just want to say I think you've done really well to make it all the way to the top, and in the time that you've done it. So
Thanks, Kristian.
something to take away from that.
But I reckon anybody can do it with it, you know, with a little bit of training, and as long as you pace yourself, I think anybody can climb the Stelvio. And the best part of it is that once you've done it, it's going to appear in the Giro, say once every 5 years, and once you've climbed it, you can then say from then until you die, you know, I did that.
That's right.
So Darren, thanks very much for the invite.
It was my pleasure.
Superb coming out. Kristian, thank you for dragging me up it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Chin chin.